Ruger SR22 review. So I want to do a review on this Ruger SR22. This is a 22 caliber semi-automatic, double action, single action pistol that I bought for my wife so that she can kind of get into shooting. I have a Glock 19. She shot that a couple times, and she's about 5 foot nothing, 110 pounds, and she couldn't quite get her a good grip on the Glock 19. And then also when it was shooting, the recoil was just a bit too much for her. So did some research, saw the Ruger SR22, and we got her this pistol. And she's been loving it, really. There's no recoil really on this pistol. It's pretty accurate and it's fairly easy to shoot. So go ahead and get into a review of it. Now, one of the first things you can see with this pistol is there's a safety here. So in this top position, it's on fire. Push it down and it's safe. And this is ambidextrous, so you have it on both sides. When it's on safe, the trigger is basically useless. Once you put it on fire, then the trigger is functional again. So let me go ahead and show you that this is empty. So the magazine is empty. Nothing in the chamber. And one thing also that this has is a magazine disconnect safety. So if there's no magazine in the weapon, then the trigger basically no longer functions. Then once you put the magazine back in, you're ready to go. So this is also, you can see that the hammer is cocked back right now, so I racked the slide. It has a hammer decock, which would be the safety. So if you go ahead and activate the safety, it decocks the hammer. Now it snaps down, so that might take a little getting used to if you're putting a round in here. But that's just something to note. And then when you put it on fire, you have the trigger. So here's the initial shot will be a double action, with each follow-up shot being a single action. Now the first one, it has a pretty heavy trigger pull, so that might take some getting used to, but that's the build up. Then it breaks all the way at the back. And there's the reset. And then the follow-up is a lot easier, it's a lot smoother. But that's the action on the trigger. And the cool thing too, so the sights are pretty decent. They're actually better than the stock Glock sights in my opinion. So this gun is a bit easier to shoot. And then the rear sight is also adjustable for elevation, which is pretty cool. I don't think that we're gonna have to replace these sights at all. And there's also the Picatinny rail system on the front, so you can mount a laser or a light if you so choose. Here you have the magazine release, which is also ambidextrous. You have it here at where your trigger finger is at, or on the opposite side you have it where your thumb is at. So you can release the magazine either way. I believe this is a 10-round magazine. I can't quite recall, but I believe this is a 10-round magazine. And there you have it. That is the Ruger SR22. Taking apart the pistol can take a little bit of getting used to. The takedown lever is here, so you have to pull that right there in front of the trigger. You have to get that down into the 6 o'clock position, and then you pull back on the slide, and then you can remove it. And there you go. The barrel is actually connected to the frame of the gun. I think there's a screw down in here. There's a screw here right next to the trigger where you can go ahead and remove this barrel. That's something that we'll probably do in the future, to go ahead and put a threaded barrel so we could put a suppressor on this particular pistol. But just so you know, the barrel is connected to the frame of the gun, which makes it, you know, a little bit more difficult when it comes to cleaning. But it's pretty straightforward taking the pistol apart. Now, putting the pistol back together, the first couple of times that I've done it, it's given me a little bit of issues. Putting this thing back together is a bit more of a pain. So you got to put the recoil rod and spring here into the frame. Get it lined up. You put the recoil rod in the spot here, and then put the slide into position, and then you just pull back until and then it comes back. So go ahead and put the lever back. Check for function. Need the magazine. And we're good to go. One thing I like about the SR22 is the grip. It feels really good in the hand. It feels pretty ergonomic. And this, I don't know what to call it, but this outside part of the grip, it's rubberized. You can actually remove this, and Ruger provides a replacement that you can put in here to give it a little bit more feel. So you can replace it with this. I haven't done it. You know, this is primarily my wife's gun and she likes the way it feels, so I haven't messed with it, but it does come with this. And on that note, I'll go ahead and show you what comes with the pistol. So the pistol comes in this box from Ruger, and it's just a cardboard box. It's got lock, papers, one extra magazine, and some base plates. And that's about it. That's the box is kind of weak to me, in my opinion. Cheap, but you know, it is what it is. So the pistol is pretty easy to get used to. If you are not familiar with the double action, single action, that might take a little bit of getting used to, but then otherwise it's pretty much the same as any other pistol. You have, on this side, you have the slide release right there, and it functions, you know, the same as it would with any other pistol. So just lock the slide back, release the slide, and with this, every time that you rack the slide, you know, you're gonna go ahead and cock that hammer. And if you want to release the hammer, you could just go ahead and initiate the safety. That'll drop the hammer. So it's a pretty nice pistol. I would definitely recommend it to, you know, first time shooters or new shooters, or just if you want a 22 long rifle pistol. Now, I have not shot one of the you know, the marks, the target shooting pistols. I imagine that those are a lot more reliable given their longer barrels. That's the one complaint that I have about this pistol, is it's not very good if you want to use this as some sort of defensive carry, because the ammunition is not terribly reliable with the 22 coming out of this platform. I think with the rifles and maybe with those the longer, you know, like the Ruger Mark II, those kind of pistols, it might be a little bit better. Now, we haven't shot this that much. I think my wife and I have gone to the range 2 times with this particular pistol, and we've probably only put maybe about 500 rounds through it. But you know, both of us have shot this pistol, and both of us have had numerous malfunctions with this. We've had a bunch of stovepipes a bunch of failure to ejects, failure to feed. And I think that's just a function of shooting, you know, a 22 caliber through this short barrel. So I don't know if this would be very practical as a defensive carry. At the range, we're able to clear it pretty quickly. You know, when we have an issue up here, you just tap it, rack it, and then go bang again. But still, that's something to take into consideration if you wanted to carry this. Honestly, I think what we're gonna end up doing for my wife's carry gun is go with either the Ruger LCP2 or a Glock 42. I haven't really decided. She hasn't really decided. I've just been trying to help her out a little bit. We're gonna go have her, you know, handle a few of those guns and see what she likes. But if you have any suggestions, you know, please leave me a comment below, or if you have any experience with, you know, shooting the Ruger LCP2 or the Glock 42, especially if you're sort of a smaller frame person with smaller hands, you know, weaker upper body strength. But that's my review of the Ruger SR22. It's definitely a nice pistol. I would recommend picking one up if you are trying to get into shooting or you just want to shoot some targets. And definitely the fact that you can put a threaded barrel on here is kind of cool, so that you can go ahead and put a suppressor on there. So it can suit a variety of needs, and I definitely would recommend picking this pistol up. So I definitely recommend picking up the Ruger SR22, whether, you know, you're a novice shooter looking to get into shooting and you just want to practice without having too much felt recoil, whether you're looking for a suppressor platform, if you want to put a threaded barrel on here and put a suppressor on it so you can use it for that purpose, or you just want to go plinking. I definitely would recommend picking up the Ruger SR22. So if you have one, if you shot one, you know, go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think, and stay tuned. Fucking hate putting this thing together. See, putting this fucking thing together is putting this thing back together, and then pull back until it clears the barrel. And there you have it. That is the Glock SR. I said Glock. And there you have it.